After the record-setting months that we've seen over the last year, our housing market has finally returned to more balanced market conditions, with sales activity returning to more typically seasonal averages over the last month. I'm Medina Dragasanu, Oakland Realty, here with your June 2022 market update. Let's take a look at what's happening with sales, inventory levels, and pricing. Starting off with sales, over the month of May, we had just over 2,900 sales in our region. This is down about 10% relative to April, and it's down almost 32% relative to last year. Again, similar to what we saw last month, this sounds like a big number for sales to decline, and this is what we're going to be seeing primarily in the news headlines. But if we look at this in the big picture compared to the 10-year sales average, we see that last month's sales were just down about 13% relative to the 10-year average. If we look at it across different segment types, we see that the biggest decline in the number of sales was in the detached segment, with sales down 44% relative to last year. For townhomes and half-duplex properties, sales were down 35% relative to last year. And condos have remained the most steady, with sales down just about 22% relative to last year. With rising interest rates, more selection on the market, and the increased uncertainty across global financial markets, we're seeing a lot of buyers take a step back from the frenzied buying activity we were seeing over the last 2 years, and they're taking more time to really explore their options and do their due diligence before jumping in. And very much like we were seeing this time last year, a lot of buyers and sellers in our marketplace are taking their attention off the housing market right now and focusing on their summer activities and vacation plans. So what do these big declines in sales mean for prices? Well, we have to remember that sales reflect demand, which is only part of the equation in pricing. The other part of the equation is inventory levels, or the supply of homes available for sale. And it's the interplay between these demand and supply factors that shift prices up or down. So let's take a look at what's happening with inventory levels. In the month of May, we saw just over 6,300 homes newly listed for sale on the MLS. This represents a 4% increase relative to the previous month in April, but it's down over 10% relative to the same month last year. And when we look at the total inventory in our marketplace, so that's the total number of homes available for sale, we see that it's up about 14% relative to April, but it's actually down about 9% relative to last year. So this takes us to our sales to active listings ratio, which, if you recall from previous videos, is our leading indicator showing us if prices are on their way up or down. Essentially, we're looking at the number of sales in a given month divided by the total active listings left over at the end of that month. When this ratio is over 20%, we're considered to be in a seller's market, and we typically start seeing upward pressure on prices. When the ratio is below 14%, that's when we're in a buyer's market. And anything between 14 to 20% is a balanced market. Currently, our sales to active listings ratio for our market as a whole is sitting at 29.2%. So technically, we're still in a seller's market. If we look at it by property type, we see that the detached segment is actually in balanced market conditions, sitting at 18%. Whereas townhomes are currently at 35.5%, so in a pretty hot seller's market still. And condo apartments are at the hottest segment right now at 38%. So while these numbers are lower than we were seeing the past few months, we see that we're still in seller's market territory for both condos and townhomes. It's really the detached segment that seems to be in balanced market conditions. And within that segment, we're seeing that the higher end segments of the market, like West Vancouver, the west side of Vancouver, tend to be more towards the buyer's market territory. So let's take a look at prices. The HPI Benchmark Price Index for all property types is currently at 1,261,000. This is down about 0.3% relative to April, and it's up 14.7% relative to this time last year. If we look at this broken down by property types, we see that the benchmark price for detached homes is currently at $2,093,000. This represents a 0.4% decrease relative to April, and it's up about 15% relative to May last year. For attached properties, the HPI benchmark price is currently at $1,141,000. This is down about 0.6% relative to April, and it's up 21.5% relative to May. For condo apartments, we see that the benchmark price is currently at $780,000, and this is down about 0.4% relative to April and up 15% relative to May of last year. After the last 2 years of rapidly escalating prices, we're finally seeing conditions balancing out and the price increases easing off. But where we go next will really depend on supply levels. And from what we're seeing right now, we'd need to see inventory almost double for us to get to a true balanced market territory across the board. So what does this mean for you? Well, if you're a buyer, these are the conditions you've been waiting for in the last year. You have more selection to choose from, you have some room to negotiate, and you could take your time and do your due diligence. Now, with that said, with a lot of fear and uncertainty in the market, this is also when a lot of buyers pull back off the sidelines. And a lot of them end up missing the best opportunities because they wait too long. It's hard for us to say with certainty where things will go. As I mentioned, it will really depend on inventory levels. If last year is any indicator, we saw that the best buying opportunities were this time between May and July, where buyers had the most selection to choose from and the least competition. As we headed into the fall months last year, we didn't see inventory levels pick up, and that's why prices started picking up again. So we don't know how long this window of opportunity will last. If you're a seller in this market, you really need to think through your strategy and work with someone who knows the local market and can guide you through what's happening. Right now, we're definitely recommending different strategies for our clients than we were 3 months ago in terms of pricing and also timing, especially if you're looking to sell and buy in this market. If you are thinking of making a move this year, get in touch with us and we're happy to chat with you about our strategies for taking advantage of the current market. If you found this video useful, be sure to share it with your friends. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel and make sure to follow me on Instagram at adina.yvr. That's a wrap for this month. Enjoy the rest of your June, and I can't wait to see you in July.